Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Stephanie Adams, and I will be the host for this TLC session. Thank you for joining us for analysis of the efficiency of the instructional quality review process. Please welcome Dr. Alan Belcher, Professor of Education in the College of Education.
Thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate that. I would like to mention Dr. Maureen Leno, who is unable to be here with us today. This was her idea for research, and we have worked on it and continue to polish it, and we're looking forward to your feedback on it. We focused this research on the topic that we really feel very tied to, the process of the instructional quality review, the IQR. We wanted to know if what we were doing was making a difference. We wanted to know the process that we go through with our IQR in the College of Education, where we review someone's work, we talk with them afterwards, we help them develop professional goals for their next round of teaching, and even an action plan of how they'll make that goal become a reality. We wanted to know if any of that was having a positive impact on the faculty, and hopefully then, by extension, to the students. We also wanted to know how our associate faculty felt about this process. Did they believe it was helping them? And what suggestions might they have for us as ways to improve things? In reviewing some of the previous research on the topic, we found that online universities use many of the same tools that we use here at Ashford. Teacher observations, our IQR, student survey responses, our end of course survey. There are also teacher self-assessments, which we invite folks to do, but is not a required part of the process at this point. But beyond that, beyond the process, the feedback that faculty get should help them determine whether or not they're meeting their goals in the classroom and what they could do differently to work with their students. And that's true for on-ground and online universities both. One point, though, that we thought was particularly important was that the feedback given to faculty should help to establish goals, professional goals for individual faculty members. We do that here at Ashford, but we found it was good to know that other schools are doing that as well. And it is important, we've always felt, and the previous research seems to back this up, that the establishment of those goals should be collaborative. Now, the reviewer here at Ashford might have recommendations or suggestions for what the associate faculty member could or should be doing, but it is a collaborative process. And finally, one that Maureen is very fond of, Wiggins, talks about that there has to be ongoing feedback against some long-term goal. That is what helps faculty improve. And I think that in our research, we found that to be the case as well. All of that led us to two particular research questions that we were concerned with. The first, to what extent does the creation of goals and an action plan as part of our process produce positive change for our associate faculty? And secondly, which parts of our IQR process have the most positive impact on professional practice? So we decided we would survey our faculty and gather some quantitative information on their performance. So the quantitative information came right out of our faculty database and included their IQR scores from 2018 and 2019. Now, we had a comparison group from January through May of those 2 years, and we had matched pairs so we could determine if these faculty scores were going up or down. But we also analyzed all of the IQR data for all associate faculty within the College of Education from those 2 years through July of each year. Our survey was sent to 237 associate faculty. We were using Qualtrics for this, so it, of course, kept track of who responded and who did not, and sent out occasional reminders. On the bottom line was that we had 108 responses for a response rate of 45%. In this survey, respondents reported whether or not they had had an IQR in the previous 12 months, whether or not they had had a follow-up conference with a full-time faculty member about that review, and whether or not they had set goals and action plan as a result of that review. We also asked, though, did they believe that the creation of the goals and action plan had a positive effect on their performance? And we did some correlation of all of those variables. We found out some pretty good things about our IQR process. When we compared the independent variable of whether or not individuals had had a review with a dependent variable of whether that improved their practice, the research found that there was a statistically significant, moderately strong score of 0.668. Likewise, a correlation between the improving score and having the post-review conference, and the setting of goals correlated with an improvement in their performance. Again, a moderately strong and statistically significant correlation there. So it would appear that the practice is having a positive effect on improvement. Can't say that for certain, but when you look at the overall scores from 2018 to 2019, and we know that there are 5 categories, 5 criteria on the IQR: fostering critical thinking, CT here, instructive feedback, maintaining high expectations, establishing relationships, and the demonstration of instructor expertise. All of those are scored on a scale of 0 to 4, 0 meaning not observed, and 4 meaning distinguished. We can see that scores improved by these numbers on that 4-point scale. Now, the overall change in score on the criterion of instructive feedback improved by 3/4 of a point, 0.76. On a 4-point scale, that's a big shift in 1 year. Now, certainly we focused on instructive feedback. We have been focusing on that as an area for giving feedback to our associate faculty for some time now. But likewise, the score for critical thinking, that is driving critical thinking on our students' part, improved by 0.36. And the score for high expectations, setting and maintaining high expectations, an improvement there of 0.68. And you can see the others as well. Now, the overall score for considering all of the average score across the IQR was 0.48, almost half a point. Again, that's a big jump in 1 year, from 1 year to the next. Now, while some associate faculty from 2018 were no longer working at Ashford, some of them due to resignation or some to deactivation, that may very well help improve those scores. But when we segment out only those who had a score in both years, we see comparable numbers to these. Associate faculty report to us that one of the most valuable parts of the process was the personal connection made in that follow-up conference. One recommendation from that finding is that the college should seek out additional opportunities for conversation among full-time faculty and associate faculty. Perhaps they could be live webinars, maybe built around specific courses of interest or centered on online teaching practices that might be interesting to associate faculty. Likewise, ongoing professional learning communities might be an appropriate measure to ensure long-term connections among faculty. They report to us that that is important. We should build on that. Certainly when faculty feel like their thoughts are heard and considered, a stronger connection to the course, to the program, and the institution can be made. Those conversations, however they may occur, might be an important part to improving faculty performance. Now, our associate faculty also indicated that they're able to ask questions about the college and policy changes during that IQR conference. Getting answers to their pressing questions was another benefit of this one-on-one communication. So for those reasons, we strongly recommend continuing and enhancing the one-on-one conference following the review. The conversation is needed and appreciated by the associate faculty, and it appears to serve as an important part of communicating among faculty. It also appears to be a strong link with improving faculty performance. Beyond the IQR criteria, however, and as noted in some of the comments from associate faculty, there are instructional activities that take place that are not reflected on the rubric. For instance, a review can't really see the email that faculty send to students. Now, we can see the email if it goes through Inspire for Faculty, but we can't see just typical standard email. Reviewers cannot easily determine if faculty hold virtual office hours for students, and we don't know about phone calls or Zoom conferences or text messages that associate faculty make and receive from students. And these are valuable activities for supporting students, but they only come to light in that post-review conference. Also, there is no assessment for the amount of time faculty spend prepping for their teaching by finding websites, articles, or video materials related to the course concepts and shared with students in their instructor feedback. So some of our recommendations are these. We really think we need to continue to remove associate faculty who don't perform at a proficient level on the IQR. We have a mentoring program in place in the College of Education. We rely on it heavily, and that does help. Still, there are some faculty that just, for any number of reasons, are not meeting the mark. We also think that our new faculty experience needs to include information about the IQR process. Let's let our new folks understand the standards to which they will be held. We recommend that we continue, as we've been doing here in the College of Education, providing mentoring for new faculty in their first 2 courses. We recommend that we should be having webinars to demonstrate and observe distinguished practices. We know a lot of this is now taking place in our COE 101 Canvas course that's open to all faculty in the College of Ed. We think Zoom webinars would be a great way to conduct our one-on-one post-review conferences. There's something about seeing a face that adds more to it than just a phone call. We also thought that the IQR document itself, the rubric, could use some updating to identify more clearly the descriptors of the various criteria and perhaps reduce the number of levels of performance. We have 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4 now. Perhaps we could just identify those as meets the standard, exceeds the standard, or does not meet. Might be a little simpler for us to identify and describe faculty performance that way. And finally, we think it's also important that we would continue sending welcome emails to associate faculty at the start of the course. That seems to help make connections with our faculty. I do want to acknowledge the support and help of Debbie Carpenter and Denise Maxwell of the College of Education. They allowed us to review the same set of faculty in 2018 and 2019. We thought that would be helpful for Maureen and me to review the same set of faculty for 2 years in a row to add some consistency to what we were reviewing. And so we thank them for the opportunity to do that. And with that, I would certainly be happy to have you ask questions and suggestions for other ways of research or anything that's on your mind. Haley, that's a good question. We have not yet, we haven't yet analyzed the specific content of those welcome messages. However, that brings up a great point that may fall in line with research that's also ongoing in the Inspire for Faculty, as we are analyzing those types of messages for the content, for the tone, and all of that sort of thing. That might really be a helpful thing to do here as well. Thank you for that. Are there others? Ooh, very exciting. Feel free to put something in the chat or come on the line. My pleasure, Haley. Thank you for being here and listening. If others of you have questions, you want to email them, please do so. We'd be happy to receive those and consider them. We do hope to continue this research into the next year and maybe extend it out for another couple of years. And with that, then, I think I will turn it back over to Stephanie.
Well, thanks a lot for your presentation. It was very interesting and informative. And thank you all for attending. Don't forget to join the keynote, which will start at 3:30. And enjoy the rest of TLC. Thanks.